We don't ask too much. We ask too little. Christians under 25 are tougher than you think. Rumors of their spiritual demise are greatly exaggerated.
This pretty young pastor thing you got going on, it does a lot of work for you, but I'm just not distracted by all of this.
What do you need to know, Tommy?
Is Reverend Jameson going to be fired?
The decision is above my pay grade.
Oh, is it? See, maybe I should call Reverend Mackler.
Reverend Mackler is at the hospital right now, ministering to an aging and fragile congregation. But I'm sure she'd stop for a few minutes to catch you up on the latest gossip.
Michelle,
Frank Jameson is the community relations minister.
Look, if you aren't going to give me this scoop, at least give me something.
Well, there was this fella about 2,000 years ago.
Oh, Michelle,
You are doing a lot of work for a blog.
You say blog like it's a profanity. You know, Paul would blog. All those open letters to the Ephesians and the Corinthians. Look, I'm just spreading the truth out loud and for profit, okay? And this blog, this is my golden ticket. This is my way out.
Jesus' story has been getting hits for thousands of years.
Yeah, and there's a guy at Rolling Stone who's offering paid internships for people who get over 100,000 hits this month.
I have a friend who works at the Atlantic Monthly.
Where did you go to school again?
Brown,
right, Brown. No, you know what? I think I've heard of that. Maybe I'll just go to Brown, and then I can write for the Atlantic Monthly. But just in case that doesn't work out, I'm gonna go ahead and write out this blog thing.
Okay, here's a story. The church has been blessed in bringing people together. We've been marrying more people since Reverend Mackler took over. Just last night, I was at a bar celebrating the engagement of 2 of our congregants who met months ago at our weekly Good News and Brews meeting for young adults.
You're asking me to write a story about church folk getting together. Were they gay?
No. I need a favor.
Sure. Hey, just real quick, when was the last time someone said no to you and it took?
I need you to pray.
They changed the words. The second verse is supposed to begin, "Here I raise mine Ebenezer." They changed it to, "Here I raise to thee an altar."
We all make concessions to our times. Just think of all the translations of the Bible.
The Bible was written in Hebrew and Greek. I expect new translations. Come Thou Fount was written in English. There's no need to freshen that up. It's laziness. The congregants didn't know what an Ebenezer was. Instead of teaching it to them, they changed the words.
You need to pick your battles. Spend less time worried about Ebenezer's and more time figuring out how we're going to pay for our new construction.
I have an idea on that.
Are you going to squeeze Priscilla Contalano for the money?
Don't put words in my mouth. It's vulgar. Squeeze Priscilla Catalano. Did I say we'd squeeze Priscilla Catalano?
You didn't say anything.
No, I haven't said anything. Here I am trying to do the Lord's work, and you think I'd suggest that we squeeze Priscilla Catalano.
I'm sorry.
An apology accepted.
So what do you have in mind?
I've given this a great deal of thought. No small amount of prayer. And, well, with the Calhouns no longer in our corner, and the congregation getting older, I think it might be best if we gently squeeze Priscilla Catalano.
Yeah.
U.S. Immigration Enforcement raided a sausage processing factory in Postville. They hauled away 400 undocumented workers.
Illegal aliens?
Undocumented workers is the term of art. Actually, I don't think that's correct. They had documents photoshopped. The plant manager printed them off, and his brother sold them in an alley.
I understand why you said what you said about Topher Calhoun. Terry's not that mad. Nobody's going to get fired.
It's a complicated situation.
But we're the fastest growing church in Des Moines.
But we're not growing the right way.
It's racist.
It's complicated. Hang on a second. It's Terry. Chloe hasn't come out of surgery. Let's take a minute. Do you mind?
No. Dear Lord,
I thank you for watching over me during my time recovering in the hospital.
please, please, watch over Chloe.
Amen.
This yours? You know, somebody marked up the conference room walls with magic marker.
You know, I hide them, but he keeps finding them.
That's your job.
I just got a call from Father Odekirk up at St. Bridget's. He's still all alone up there, except for the bodies to keep warm, the mouths to feed, and the children to teach.
How many people were arrested in this INS raid?
You use words like arrested, and I think that's overstating the case. Arrested conjures images of trials, lawyers, phone calls, Miranda rights. These people were yanked from their jobs and thrown into an unmarked van.
Wow, Frank, tell me how you really feel.
We still don't know where they're being kept.
All right, do we know how many children were abandoned because of the raid?
We don't know.
Do we have a Spanish-speaking contact? Someone on the ground? Someone we can work with?
No.
True or false? If I was to drive into Postville right now with a handheld clicker counter and stand up on top of a ladder tallying all people on the streets below, I'd probably have as accurate a guess as I do now.
That's true.
Hey, we've got scribble marks all over the conference room walls.
What are you telling me for? Tell Barb.
So it's gonna need a coat of paint. You know, I'm told we're living in the information age. And we said we would help people from the fallout from this raid. Get on the phone. Talk to whoever you need to. Just find me some way that I can do my job and help out the least of these. How are you, Frank?
How does Terry feel about it?
How does she feel? She is mad, Frank. You know, we're a congregational church. The church board cuts our checks. We said we would help people. We've got $10,000 worth of damage down flooded basement. And we've got pending litigation because Heloise Johnson slipped and fell in the church sanctuary.
What does insurance even look like on something like that? Do we have to insure communion? Can we get a better premium if we, pass a plate?
Heloise's hospital bills are real, and so are our insurance premiums. Look, we need the Calhouns. You know, right now, Terry is trying to figure out whether she should let the church board fire you or whether she should do it herself and save them the work.
I know.
Rafer Calhoun is a good Christian.
This isn't about Rafer Calhoun.
You go screaming, Topher Calhoun is a racist, right in the middle of church coffee hour. You're surprised if his father feels implicated?
I made a mistake.
Yeah, you made a mistake. But don't pack up your desk just yet.
There's a delivery receipt on that front pew for you. Hey, could you give me a hand? Sure. Oh, thanks. Any word on Chloe?
Still in the hospital.
Oh, shit.
Language.
I'm sorry.
The cross, the stained glass, reverence for the room.
I'm sorry.
Do you know who approves the chalice hymnal? It used to be somebody at regional offices, somebody Finley. That was years ago. The most recent edition has the wrong version of Come Thou Fount.
I love that hymn.
Yeah, so did I. Apparently it's changed since my last haircut.
Well, you are a purist.
Did you know the Catholic Church had Latin Mass all the way from 200 AD up until the 1970s? Yet no one's actually spoken Latin as a live language since 900 AD. Now that's 1,000 years when the Catholics said, you want to be a Christian? You actually have to learn something.
Either that or sit in the pew bored out of their minds.
The Latin Mass has survived schisms and world wars. And we can't even keep one hymn sacred without feeling the need to freshen it up.
That's why the Catholics have all that sitting and standing and kneeling in their services. They had to keep the people awake while the priest droned on in a dead language nobody could understand.
Language.
What? I didn't say anything wrong.
It was the way you said it. Respect for the room?
Well, I'm sorry that disco killed the Latin Mass.
Oh, I think it was Pope Paul that killed the Latin Mass, and not the Bee Gees. You know, there's scribbling all over the walls in the conference room.
So what do you expect me to do about it?
Well, it needs paint. Probably 2 coats.
I'll get my best guy on it. Next time you're free. Relax. Enjoy the room. The cross, the stained glass.
I went to the hospital to relieve Reverend Mackler.
How did that go?
She sent me back.
Who knows about Postville?
I think Frank was working on it.
I already spoke with Frank. You're from Waterloo, right? What do you know?
Well, Postville is just north of Waterloo. Waterloo only has 2 high schools and a Walmart. So if Waterloo was a metropolis, we think of Postville as a bunch of hayseeds. 400 workers is a chunk. The town can't be bigger than 3,000. Where were they taken to?
The workers? Who knows? Oz. The Fairyland or the HBO prison. Take your pick.
Well, who can we contact to find out something like that? They're lawyers?
Lawyers? I think lawyers is a generous interpretation.
No,
of
I'm
what
sure
these-
the factory has
The
lawyers.
meat plant isn't the problem.
Then what is?
What happens when Concepcion and Consuela have to pony up rent because all the men have gone off to Guantanamo?
The municipality can't...
Postville takes 3 weeks to recover from a Christmas pageant.
Waterloo, I want you to get me some real numbers. Call whoever you need to. Touch base with Frank as soon as you know anything.
Me? Sure, but isn't this
What's the matter?
something for the FBI or the National Guard?
Guard what? You think these families who can't even come up with the papers to apply for welfare are suddenly going to turn into a terrorist cell?
I mean, they don't have homes or food and the FBI has Kevlar, so I'm sure we could take them if it came to something.
Does anybody else feel guilty that we keep asking these people for an offering every Sunday?
Maybe the FBI can airbomb the insurgents with work permits, passports, and visas.
Only the grace of God can explain why these people give us money.
Thanks, B.
Michelle and I can put together a team of high school and college kids.
To do what? Go look at them? They don't need a youth pastor, they need a social worker, a platoon of them. And they better be bilingual as well.
I do have a friend at St. Bridget's up in Waterloo.
That's the Catholic Church. I'm talking with an Odekirk up there.
Call and see what they need. What is next on the agenda?
The people were so afraid to go back home to their apartments because they had taken 390 workers out, most of the fathers of people from the church here. You know, I heard it was a raid. Can't be that bad. I got here and I was shocked. Absolutely shocked.
We can get you a new file cabinet. It's in storage in the basement.
Nope, I'm getting rid of all this paper. I'm gonna scan it, shred it, and put it in the computer. Digital. It's the future.
This place is a mess.
Yeah, it really is. Do you think that's why they're gonna reassign me?
No, but we've had this discussion before. You're hard-headed. That's why you're gonna get reassigned.
What's this?
Dinner.
You brought me dinner.
I saw your car in the lot from my kitchen.
What are you up to?
Dennis made extra and I thought I'd bring you some.
How long have you lived across the street from the church?
16 years in October.
How often do you see my car in the lot after hours?
About 4 or 5 times a week. You keep the hours of a college kid.
When have you ever...
And now I have, and don't get used to it.
If they can me, they can me.
When you first talked about integrating church activities here, what did I say?
You said broach the subject delicately.
I said broach the subject delicately. I said the board has complicated feelings about the matter. In the middle of coffee hour, when you screamed the Calhouns were racist, did you think you were broaching the subject delicately?
This isn't about Rafer Calhoun.
Oh, I'm sure he's enlightened enough, such that when you took 3 minutes to call his son a bigot, he didn't take offense.
Topher Calhoun said the Hernandez family was below brand. Now, I know he's an MBA and everything, and he thinks that way, but the church does not exist for his father's own political brand. Plus, Benedict gave it to me pretty good this morning.
And now you're gonna get it from me.
Why?
Because I want you to go downstairs to the basement and haul up a file cabinet, not get shipped off to Knoxville or Indianapolis. I have a proposal.
What?
I have a proposal, but I don't want you to think I'm gonna bring you dinner again.
I understand.
Or that I like you.
Agreed.
As a matter of our Traditional Hymns Month,
Traditional Hymns Month?
it's the month we set aside to reflect on our church's tradition and to honor the important people of our congregation's history.
Why haven't I heard about it?
It's gonna be every October.
I'm in charge of community programming.
Oh, I pushed it through. After our callow, arrogant minister in charge of community relations decided that the church coffee hour was the best time to spend a full 3 minutes calling our sitting congressman's son a racist. Now, Thursday afternoon, I've invited 2 board members, Topher Calhoun and Glenn Twombly, along with Rick Watson from our Disciples Regional Office. They're gonna come here and talk about Disciples traditions and how to celebrate the heritage of our church. You're gonna come to the meeting. We've never been a large church, but we've always been an important one.
I'm not going to apologize.
You will apologize. You will apologize because you're a good disciple who believes in reconciliation. You will apologize because while the church doesn't need the Calhoun family's money and prestige, our church is better for having their money and prestige. You will be nice and you will keep your job.
Okay.
Now eat your lasagna.
Okay.
I know we can work with them on this. We've been getting a lot of complaints at the regional office about our services here ever since Terry's taken over. And now I'm here to mediate this debacle with Senator Calhoun.
Why did it take an incident to get you out here? How long has it been?
General Assembly, Minneapolis. Now look at you. You're ordained pastor, first full-time job. Future's looking bright for you in the church.
I hope so. It's the best thing I can do with my life.
Well, when I heard that you were assigned to my region to work with Terry, I was excited for you. New senior pastor, a new youth pastor, both women. I couldn't think of a better mentor for you. But you've had your challenges.
I don't know what to do. Terry's hard to get close to, and she spent the last week at the hospital, which is fine, but I think we should have a distinct hospital chaplain, but she doesn't want to split the time or hire someone different.
How long do you plan on staying on in Des Moines?
The next move would be global ministry. Maybe do some work for the foreign missions?
Let's be honest. If you make the right moves within the next 10 years, the sky's the limit for you. Your pedigree, your intellect. You're from Boston, right?
DC.
Speak 3 languages. You have a passport that rivals St. Paul's. And your vocation is bigger than Des Moines. There's no shame in making contacts and positioning yourself for your career.
Well, this was my first calling. The plan is to stay here for about a year and then move on to bigger things.
Careful though. The people in the National Church Administration know Terry more than they know you. If she decides to kick up a storm, that comes back to you, you try to move, it's going to be a red flag on your record. And you're young enough right now where you really have to look out for your own future.
The data suggests that we should target here, 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 and here. Population density is working in our favor in the first 2 locations when you control for ethnicity, religious inclination, household size.
Oh, how did you get this information?
I designed the survey, and Aisha analyzed the data in R, and then we stood outside after services of all these churches and counted, and tried to get the congregants to fill out the survey.
And they did it?
Well, I have an honest face.
Catholics can have their Jesuits. Lord, get me an army of women. So all of this is going to Postville. Huh?
Yep. Not a bad start so far.
Good.
Where is Terry right now?
At the hospital?
Tending to half of our congregation.
Wow, Frank, I'm pretend you didn't just say that.
Well, with the number of older congregants.
You know, I was in the hospital not too long ago.
I know, Ben.
Terry visited me.
I'm sorry.
I was greatly eased by the comfort of her presence.
I know, Ben.
You know, maybe we do need to set aside some money for hospital chaplaincy. But let us enter that conversation with due reverence. Terry does good work.
I know.
That same night awaits us all.
Yes.
It's nice to have company when you're in the hospital.
I'm sorry, Ben.
So what do we know about this Todd Fielding guy?
I don't know what to make of him.
He wants to have some sort of breakfast with the area ministers.
His congregation is growing, but so are we.
But
all the white families are joining his congregation because he's a good young man who says all the right words and picks all the right hymns. Terry's sermons make people feel bad.
Our own avenging angel.
Terry's sermons make people feel bad, and people don't go to church to feel bad. Well, some Baptists do.
You need to watch it.
Look, the news is out that Todd preaches happy, faith-alone gospel. You know, good news stuff. For every college kid or ethnic worker that Terry brings in, we lose one of the white families from the higher income tithing group.
You know, Terry brought in those two interns, Aisha and Valerie. The two taking a semester off from University of Chicago. They're working on a special project to tell us who we need to target for membership. I didn't have the heart to tell them we're not going to be able to go after the very people their graphs tell us we should go after.
What about 2 services? With 2 messages?
Milk toast at 9 and soul at 11.
2 separate but equal services?
Terry would never go for that. It's much too insulting.
Speak for yourself. I'm going to Grace AME down the street to be with my folks.
What you talking about, Dorothy? We is family.
I'll miss you the most, Frank.
Michelle, how was breakfast?
Oh, Rich thinks that if Frank rolls over and plays good, we'll be fine.
I don't pretend to know everything. The Twitters and the emails, the internet. But this morning I had a message on my answering machine from Mrs. Peterson telling me I needed to check my email. So I logged into my account and I'm deleting all the filth and medical advertisements. Is there some sin industry in pills and porn I don't know anything about? Anyway, I come across this email with a link to Tommy Kowalski's blog. Now, normally I find clicking on such links to be treacherous business, but I did. And I read an article and learned some fascinating information about my church.
Kowalski's a good kid. I thought I'd help him out and help the church by granting him an interview.
Michelle, out getting drunk after services?
Oh, that's silly. Diego and Cammie's engagement party?
Yeah, this article makes it sound like you were carousing on the Sabbath.
Oh, I'm sure he just thinks more people will read his blog if it's controversial.
Michelle, we don't need this now.
I was just talking about how many marriages come from people meeting at our church.
Were you hypnotized?
Excuse me?
When you gave this interview, were you hypnotized?
No.
I'm trying to figure out how you thought that advertising this church as a singles bar would be a good idea.
No, it just came up that...
You know, if we're going to be a matchmaking service, we probably ought to change the name.
Well, of course we're not...
People drive by, they see the marquee out front, they read Christian church. They might get the wrong idea. They might think we're here to meditate on the greater glory of God. Heck, maybe we ought to just run happy hour announcements in the church bulletin.
I'm sorry.
Michelle, you're a good pastor. Fix this.
I gave that interview in good faith.
Yeah, good faith that I was gonna write a touchy-feely piece about your church.
To a certain extent, yes. Not a piece you call the Love Chapel where you call me a party pastor. Now, anytime you Google the words party pastor or my name, your blog is the first link that pops up.
I know, right? It's awesome. Look, I'm gonna get over 100,000 hits on some market that Rolling Stone never would have thought to even crack. Church folk. And the best part is, there are a million of them in these times of woe and want.
Listen, I am trying to get a job after this.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a job right now. Would you like to switch?
Okay, we both want to get out of Des Moines as soon as possible. So why don't you take down the blog and I will call all of my friends and see if any of them have a job opening on some coast.
I have band practice tonight. I don't know if you've heard, but I recently started a Christian hip-hop bluegrass fusion band. We're named Appalachia Rising. I know, the name's awesome. I came up with it myself. We practice on Wednesdays. You can come to that, but we have a show on Friday. You should definitely be there. Okay, look, I'm figuring if this blog thing doesn't work out, I can be a rock star.
Are you gonna take down
Right?
the article?
You feeling it? With
No.
a big fancy car?
Will you, please?
I can take it this far.
Stop rhyming!
Look, I am who I am. You are who you are.
Tommy, I am asking you as a friend.
Oh.
Please take down the article, or at
don't.
least remove my name from it.
Look, I'm not gonna do it. Call it freedom of speech, the First Amendment, the whole thing, whatever you want to call it, okay? But I need this. How is that girl we prayed for?
Better.
Hi. Can I help you?
Now I'm waiting for a friend. You are collecting the food for poor people?
Yep. You got any cans you want to donate?
Maybe. You're not a priest, are you?
Nope, I'm the factotum.
Factotum, SAT for handyman, right?
That's one way to put it. Hey, could you hand me that pliers there?
I'm a good guy. The girl I came with wants to get right with God before she has sex.
I'm not sure I'm the right person for you to talk to about this.
Oh, hi, Erin. Oh, your dad said that you wanted to talk about Chloe?
Oh, no, I'm actually kind of okay with that. I mean, not okay. I already went to go see her in the hospital, so. I was actually here about something else. I saw on the bulletin that you're good with talking about, like, the Bible and sex and stuff.
Don't sweat it. I'm not the guy she's gonna do it with. I'm here for more support. Erin and I have been playing soccer together for years, since boys from girls playing the same teams.
And how long have you had a thing for her?
Since about the time when boys and girls play on the same team.
Bitches.
I know, right?
I had a crush on Kim Del Vecchio for 15 years. I had a buzz cut and a rainbow tattoo, and she never picked up on it.
Where's your tattoo? I don't see any.
Never you mind where my tattoo is. Anyway, she even tried to fix me up with the best man at her wedding. I wish I had told her about the crush and saved myself the 80s.
Wait up. You had a crush on Miss DeVecchio, Jimmy DeVecchio's mom.
I don't know.
Well, I'm just Erin's friend. We kicked the crush in like Clinton did the military. Don't ask, don't tell. See, I'm down. We hang, we play ball. I do the more support. She does sex with Ted. Maybe.
What do you guys talk about?
Everything. With us, it's real. We've been playing soccer and reading the same books since we were kids. From Encyclopedia Brown to the Hunger Games. It's a beautiful thing. And her ass.
Watch it.
It's a combination. Boobs, butt, and books. What we have is special.
It sounds like it.
So, I mean, is it like really that big of a deal? Did I tell him we should wait?
Well, it's the deepest and most intimate way you can share yourself with another person. It's a sacred knowledge.
Sorry, Reverend Lee, that's actually another lie. He's not pressuring me to have sex. We already had sex.
Oh.
No, it's not like that. I mean, I don't really know what it's like. I mean, Ted's like super nice. I just wanted to have sex to try it out, and we didn't like really do it at first. He just put it in my butt, and then maybe like a week later, I think it was, we did the real thing. He was like really nervous, and
And he said, I love you. I mean, he was so sweet. I didn't even really make him wear a condom, so. But I'm worried that I'm stuck with him now. I can't break up with him, you know? Like if I do break up with him, I'll be a bad Christian or a slut.
Okay, there are a lot of things going on here, including a conversation about how we treat each other and ourselves. Paul wrote a letter to the Corinthians.
There's nothing wrong with moral support for Aaron. The boyfriend Ted is a bit of a tool, though. The first time I met him, he came up and asked me for weed. I don't even smoke weed. I'm a role model.
Did you tell her?
Well, see, I know a guy. I mean, I don't smoke weed, but I have a cousin with a complicated occupation.
So you gave him your cousin the drug dealer's phone number.
Anonymous email, 21st century lady.
You are the indispensable man.
All of that, and I do moral support.
And book talk.
That's right. I'm a factotum in my own way.
Sounds like it.
This crush business is a puzzle.
You're going to have to make him feel like a big man.
I know. Topher has to be in charge.
I'd start by calling him Mr. Calhoun. They want you to mouth off. They want you to give them a reason to take the congregation over to Reverend Fielding's. Weren't you wearing this shirt yesterday?
Not now.
All right, let's go.
Good. Everyone's here. Except Reverend Mackler.
Oh, Reverend Mackler's spending a lot of time at the hospital. Does anyone know how Earl Tanner's little girl is doing?
Chloe, she's out of surgery. It's a blessing.
Don't ever grow old.
What old? We're the same age. I'm as young as springtime. Dorothy.
Everyone have a seat. Let's get started. We have a lot to discuss today. Everyone knows we're starting a new tradition here at First Christian.
May I interrupt for a second?
Yes, sir.
Thank you kindly. There is a sense here among the congregants, and I feel it. It's an anxiousness, a shadow, what my grandfather would call a demon. And being on the church board, that anxiety is getting dangerously close to snuffing out the special quality that we get such a joy out of worshiping here.
This is just the type of issue we'd like to address. Dorothy has mentioned.
Mr. Twombly, I'd like to start off by apologizing. I know that my words to you, Mr. Calhoun, were inappropriate and did not reflect myself or my church in the best light. I was overly emotional.
Okay, Frank. Look, I've got to be at the county building in an hour. At the beginning of the service, before the prelude, the senator can introduce each one of the guest pastors and welcome the guest congregants to our house. We'll get the press to cover it weekly as an event. The senator's going to need their support for the general in November.
Sir, the whole congregation, I think we may have to rethink that. Parking alone would be an issue.
It's not our house.
Ben, let me work. This is my job. My dad's looking at a tough general this November, but we can get this done if you give me some room.
I'm not excited about turning our worship into a month-long weekly political rally.
I'm sure we can make it work.
No offense, Frank, but I'd rather deal with Ben right now. I don't know how long you're going to be here, and I don't want to have this conversation twice.
Okay.
This church has been flailing, going to seed for a while. Your outburst was a product of your environment.
Now we don't need to go there.
We do. This church was founded with strong organizational vision. And that kind of vision has been getting squashed under emotion.
I don't think emotions are bad, but that's beside the point.
No, he means women. It's a code word. He's talking about Reverend Mackler.
I'm sure that's not the case, Ben.
Trinity, Grace, Berkshire, they all have male senior pastors.
We've already had one apology today.
I'm a professional, Ben. I've led seminars on female leadership.
I'm sure you have, Mr. Calhoun.
I don't think I appreciate what I'm being accused of.
Last month we talked about returning to the old hymns.
Yes, but if we're going to do traditional hymns, we need to fix a chalice hymnal.
Trudy from the Indianapolis office led the committee to revise the hymnal.
Yes, she got it wrong.
I met her a long time ago. She's a great singer.
She still got the hymn wrong.
She's got a great smile.
We sing in our church, and not just smile. Look, if we're sending this hymnal out to 4,000 congregations, we need to get it right. And the previous edition of the hymnal had it right.
What's wrong with the new version?
She took out Ebenezer. The original second verse, supposed to begin, "Here I raise mine Ebenezer."
I don't even know what that means.
If we're going to do this traditional hymns month, we need to get it right. It's important.
Ebenezer, like Scrooge?
No.
It's a monument. And Ebenezer is a stone of help, set at a time of new beginnings. It was named when Israel was at the advent of its success. They'd just come out of a dark string of losses. Ben?
It's in the book of Samuel.
Good man. A friend of mine from seminary was very fond of that Ebenezer verse. That stone, the Ebenezer, was a symbol of Israel's security and of the people's continued faith in God's aid. They knew that they could not stand against the Philistines alone, and neither can I. And neither can the people who sing this song. What are we up to?
Race and gender, Reverend. Oh, and church.
Is that all? I just came from John Martin's funeral, but I have spent much of this week at the hospital. Too many of our congregants are there, and there is this one in particular that touches me. Chloe, Glenn's granddaughter. She's a favorite around here because at 13 she sported a blessed and bold array of curly hair. In my vainer moments, I sometimes get a bit jealous because I feel that God, too, like me, must appreciate a full head of curly hair, and perhaps he loves her more. Chloe has had chemotherapy. The hair is gone. But the spirit remains, and in her, I think it sustains her. I told her I may have to fire Reverend Jameson, because I am afraid of what will happen if Senator Calhoun leaves First Christian Church. You mind, Frank, that I shared that with Chloe?
No, ma'am.
I am a bit ashamed of myself that I even thought about it for so long. But don't worry, we will integrate this church, Frank. As the neighborhood becomes more diverse, the church will follow. We will all break bread together. We will all sing the same songs, and those songs will sing of Ebenezer, and when we don't know what the word means, we will look it up and take the time to learn. Now, Rick will tell you that study after study shows that this is a questionable move because blacks and Latinos are more likely to join white organizations than whites are to join organizations with darker faces. But the church is growing. The body of Christ is growing. And I will not be made to feel ashamed of the way it is growing. Now, are we done here? Or should we take a moment to pray for Chloe's health and all of our souls?
I can find my way out, Reverend.
Tell the senator I said hello.
Are they gone yet?
Yeah, they're gone. Well, I think I behaved rather well.
He wanted to turn Jesus' church into a political infomercial, with Rayford Calhoun holding forth as the King of Kings.
I really enjoyed Dorothy's eloquence. That bit where she said, absolutely nothing, really touched me.
Listen, I'm a black woman living in Des Moines. I'm not trying to make a stand. I like my secretary job. Plus, I didn't know I was working with the party pastor.
Oh yeah, I've been meaning to ask you, are we changing our name to the Love Chapel? Did you get that cleared with Regional?
I'm working on getting the blog removed.
Does that mean I can wear my red dress?
I look forward to Pentecost Sunday just for that reason.
You need to stop that.
Michelle. This last year has been a bit of a ride, hasn't it?
To say the least.
The church means a lot to you, doesn't it?
Of course. It's given me everything I have.
A place, a home, a sense of dignity.
All of that and more, Reverend. If only you knew.
I have an idea. I'm failing you as a mentor.
I don't know that that's true.
We both know that you want to do bigger things than be youth pastor in Des Moines.
Maybe, but I've learned so much in my position here.
I have failed you because you haven't learned enough. You haven't learned that the church isn't here to give you a sense of dignity or popularity. It isn't here to feed you or clothe you or give you a stage to shine upon. The church is here for the greater glory of God, not as some vehicle for your self-actualization. And that is a lesson you haven't learned. Your kind of ambition through the church breaks our church. It breaks the church, Reverend Lee, even if that energy comes from your sense of gratitude. I'm sorry I couldn't teach you that. There's a meeting in the sanctuary in about 5 minutes. I'll see you there.
Yes, I suppose.
Frank, I haven't said this before, and maybe I lacked a little confidence in my conviction, but what you did last week was brave. I don't know how smart it was, but it was definitely brave, and that is something.
Well, you know, do justice, love, mercy, all that. Thanks, Michelle. Hey, that kid talking with Aaron Twombly.
Oh, I talked with him a little bit ago. He's got a good soul, but queer.
Oh, I thought he was sweet on Aaron.
Oh, not queer gay, queer bizarre. But I liked him.
Does he speak Spanish? I'm making a list.
You are out of this world.
Aaron, introduce me to your friend.
Excuse me?
Frank Jameson. What's your name?
This is my friend Javier. This is Frank. He's one of the ministers here.
Look, some folks and I are taking a van up north. Some people that really, really need help. You wouldn't happen to speak Spanish, would you?
I got a phone call today from Paul Alderkirk. He is the priest of St. Bridget's Church in Postville. Most of the workers were Guatemalan. 10 of them have waived their rights in hopes of being quickly deported because they have families to support back home. A large part of the balance remain in jails, awaiting a mass verdict. The Catholic Diocese looks to spend $100,000 this month in support of the families left stranded in town. The Ebenezer was a symbol of new beginnings, God's grace, and the Lord's aid. How can we show these people Ebenezer? I'm taking suggestions. And let us not forget that Mary and Joseph were illegal aliens when they fled Herod, carrying the newborn Jesus in their arms.
Twombly and Calhoun are fuming. They want the head of, quote, that woman. But on the other hand, I have some good news for you. I was able to make a few calls, talk to a few people. It looks like I found a job for you. There's a fund available for you to go to Bulgaria. Witnessing about the activities of the church, fully funded, you get to see the world.
Thank you. But I don't think so.
Really, I think you should give it some thought. I mean, this is a wonderful opportunity. I get a lot of offers like this for young people of your caliber who are bright, motivated, full of fire, your level of education.
Well, it's very, very sweet of you, but I already have a job. I am the youth pastor My senior pastor is Reverend Terry Mackler, and we praise, above all, Jesus Christ.